So everybody keeps talking about how you can make so much money for land and they're not making any more of it, and that it's just one of the best investments and da 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 da. I totally agree somewhat. You see, any investment that can make you a lot of money can also lose you a lot of money. And at the end of the day, you gotta know how to identify the right investment. You also have to know how to manage the investment, and then you also have to know how to exit the investment, so that way you're able to make the most money possible with the allotted time and money that you have. In this video, I'm gonna share with you a lot of things that other people are not sharing with you about land, because this is not all rosy dozy hokey pokey. I want to make sure that you guys are equipped and can go out into the marketplace, talk to a seller that has an identified piece of property, know if it's a good deal, and then also be able to fund that deal so that way it makes sense and can actually make you money. So let's get right into this. What's up, guys? It's your boy Sawan Belcher. This is me taking action right here on YouTube. Here on the channel, we talk about how to make as much money as possible during a 30-day period of time while cherry picking the very best deals for yourself. So if you want to get into flipping property, wholesaling, rental properties, Airbnbs, or group homes, this is the place to be. So go ahead and like this video so that way it can pop up in your feed more. Now, I want to talk to you about land because, you know, at this point, we live on 22 acres, but also I have over about 5 acres out there right now that I'm just holding or either getting ready to build new construction on. Shout out to Miss Sharon, who's my new construction building partner. Can't wait to show you guys some of the things that we're doing on the new construction side of things. But at this point, you know, I feel like I've learned a little bit. I've had a few tests that I wanted to share with you guys, how it's not all roses on the land side. Now, I will go over the pros and cons, go over pricing and size, and then also go over a few things that you should avoid so that way you do not, you know, or at least try not to lose money. And then also I'll go with some funding strategies so that way you guys can be in these deals with no money out of pocket. So if you like that already, smash the like button. All right. So first pro about land is that there is a small niche group of people looking for land to buy. Okay. Now, versus with houses, everyone starts deal finding by single family residential homes. So there's like this, you know, huge pools of saturation who are going after single family homes and duplexes and triplexes and quads, retail buyers and investors and people that don't know what they're doing at all. You know, so it's extremely saturated versus people that are going after land. I mean, it's really a small, you know, group of people who are targeting landowners. So the landowners are getting way less mail, way less phone calls, way less text, and hearing this conversation way less than single family, you know, absentee owners with 100% equity, you know, that all the YouTube gurus are teaching you guys. You know, so pro is you're gonna get better leads. It's gonna take fewer leads, and you're probably gonna be able to get a deal under contract quicker by hunting land leads. Okay. Now the con is actually like a shortage of buyers. Okay. It's actually like a shortage of buyers. You see, like there's an increase and an influx of buyers whenever the law changes about real estate, right? That kind of, the laws influence buyers in this, you know, in this market. That's just what happens. So if the government sees a need to fix up low income areas, then they'll make a law that targets people to buy houses in low income areas. You know, if there becomes too much, you know, if the rents go too high, then they'll start making laws about putting a cap on how much rent is, which will slow down prices, which will, you know, change the buying pool from investors to, you know, retail buyers. See, the thing is, the government hasn't put anything in place for home builders to build more homes. So the buying pool is a lot smaller with land. Now, on the pro side of that, we are in a housing shortage all over the United States. There was actually like a CNN article that we're like 2 million homes short of what we need right now. So realistically, new construction is it. Okay. So there definitely is pros and cons of buying land. And on average, you can buy land cheaper than you can buy a house. On average, land does go up in value consistently, and you don't have to do anything to it but leave it there. So there are pros and cons. The next category I want to tackle is, let's think about land in a size perspective. Okay, see, on one hand, we're sitting on 22 acres and it feels like a lot. It really does. But on the grand scheme of things, I have a neighbor that has 140 acres across the street. And then we also have a local politician that has 250 right down the street as well. So it's like, is size relative or not? And also, how do we judge how much we pay for that particular size lot? Because I've seen lots that are only an acre sell for $100,000, but I've also been able to buy 5 acres for $20,000, and the difference can depend on so many different things. So you need to be aware that size of lots are typically going to be measured by the per acre, but also by the location and what they're zoned and how they can be used. Okay. Most of the time, land in neighborhoods, land downtown, or land near highways and communities are going to be worth way more than land outside of the county that you can buy in bulk. All right. When I'm looking at land to buy, I'm making sure that I'm looking at it on a per acre basis. Me personally, I have kind of like a flat rate that I buy at. It makes it easier for me to know exactly how much I can pay without having to guess, but it also makes it easy for me to teach or coach an acquisition agent or a real estate agent of how to make offers for me when I'm buying land. Now, granted, you might miss some of the bigger, better, baddest, land properties, but you will always have a good deal on your hand. You won't ever have to second guess it if you just put a standard on what your per acre price is. Okay. Now, some things for you to avoid. Like I said, these values will be determined about the zoning and the particular use. See, property is set, and what you can do with the property is set by the planning board of your county. So there's different zoning of each different property. So the zoning might be commercial, right? Meaning that you have to put an office building there, or you might have to put multifamily over 5 units there, or you might have to put a store there or mixed use there. Industrial means that you can't build anything there and you can only dig up rocks or put trash there, or use this for warehouses, or agricultural, meaning that you can use this for land and farming and grading and cattle and that kind of thing. Zoning, depending on the zoning of the land, depends on how you can use that property, which helps determine what the property can be used for and how much the property will actually be worth. Now, things to also look for inside of that is which properties are worth less and which properties are worth more. Well, I'll tell you that anytime you have water running through that property, devalues it. Anytime you have electric like lines running through that property, it devalues it. Or anytime you have land that does not soak up the water, land that stays wet and muddy, not even a marshland, but just stays wet, it will not perk. You see, in order for a property to actually be buildable, which makes it more valuable, the land has to perk. A perk test or a soil test measures how well the earth will soak up water or soak up waste, and that determines how big of a property, how many people can stay on that property, live on that property, and that's how big of a house you can build, right? So the better a house perks, the better the soil soaks up the waste or water, the bigger the house you can build, the more valuable the land. If the land cannot soak up any waste, that the waste builds up to the top, or the water stays, muggy and and just holds water almost like a pond, you're not going to be able to build anything and it's going to be worth less. Okay. Now, another thing that you're going to make sure that you have to look out for, that you probably want to avoid, is having easements, shared driveways, or even oil rights. Okay. You want to kind of get rid of all this little stuff that involves you having a lifetime partner. At the end of the day, those are going to kill the values of your property. Now, lastly, is how do we fund these kind of transactions? Now, this is probably one of the pros that I probably should have mentioned, is that funding land can be super fun. Now, there's a couple ways you're going to do it. And most of the time, as a real estate investor, you're going to do it the creative way, which means that you're going to be using some kind of financing that's going to be creative, meaning the seller is going to allow you to make payments over time, or you're going to give the seller equity, or you're going to come up with a plan before you buy it, use that plan as a way to come up with a debt service coverage ratio loan and get 100% financing that way and pay yourself fees while you put on the projects. Either way, the financing that you get is going to be based off of the plan that you're able to come up with, and then also the references that you're able to get to confirm that your plan will work. For instance, if you find a property and you want to build there, you'll need to provide a perk test. You'll need to provide building plans that you got from a builder. You'll need to provide a scope of work that you got from the builder as well. And then you'll need to provide like a CMA or a desktop appraisal that says that the house will be worth X amount when done. And then you take all of those things over to the bank, and the bank approves it based off of those plans. So that means the approval is based off of the plans, not necessarily you, which leaves you in a no PG, no personal guarantee situation, just like every real estate investor loves. Or you'll go to that seller and come up with terms that work for you, a monthly payment or payments later or a balloon, or we have several videos on how to come up with that. But it'll be based off of what you can get him to agree to. If you guys want to learn the 5 things that you must know in order to buy land successfully, I'm going to leave this video right here for you guys. See you on the next one. Peace.